So let's dive into how to provide great Service Cloud solution design. So in this lecture, we're talking about analyzing customer requirements for Service Cloud solution design. And in our scenario, we've already created a survey object. That is a custom object that we use to survey accounts and specifically people that belong to those accounts, which would be contacts. And if you remember, we have a master detail relationship on the survey object looking up to the account, and then we have a lookup field to the contact with a lookup filter to verify that the contact belongs to the account that the survey is for. So in our scenario, we are a surveying company and we have been tasked with surveying contacts inside of accounts that are our clients. And I said previously that we are going to be doing a thing called CSAT, or customer satisfaction surveys. We're also going to be doing other types of surveys such as Net Promoter Score, or NPS. And technically an NPS, or Net Promoter Score, boils down to a single question and it's designed to test customer loyalty. And that question is, how likely are you to recommend our company, product, or service to your friends and colleagues? That's usually on a 1 to 10 scale, and the higher the number, the more likely they are to recommend. And throughout the duration of this course, we're going to be doing things around this Net Promoter Score. We're going to do some additional questions to measure customer satisfaction. I may have mentioned that CSAT was that one question. I may have misspoke earlier. So technically speaking, the NPS is that one question of how likely you are to recommend, and then customer satisfaction asks a lot of different questions. And so we're going to do some automation as well based on these responses, and have people fall in certain categories and have certain things happen. In the end of this course, you should have a full-fledged solution for providing survey solutions for your own customers or clients if you wish. And this would be a real-life project that you could even put down on a resume. Even though it's not necessarily something that is used in the real world, you can say that you've built a survey application. You also notice in this section that we later talk about custom development versus third-party solutions and things that you might download off of the App Exchange. And so we're going to be walking this out throughout the duration of the course. We're going to be extending the Service Console. Let's go to the Setup menu, and we're going to remind ourselves what we have as far as this object goes called Surveys. And so we're going to click on the Survey object, and we've got our fields and relationships. And mentioned previously, we've got our master detail and our lookup, respectively, going to the account and the contact. And so now we need to add a question to our survey, or at least an answer to our survey. And so when you're dealing with survey solutions, it can get kind of complicated because the questions can be very long and exceed the limit of a field label. We're going to create a number field to house a response to a survey. Now, you may do this through a pick list value instead. You could do numeric pick list values, but I'm going to do a number field. And we're going to explore different options here as we go throughout this course. But one of the initial requirements that we've gathered from our client is they need the ability to measure NPS, or Net Promoter Score. And the answer is on a scale of 1 to 10. And these are whole numbers with no decimal points. And so we've gathered that requirement. And so we're just going to call this particular field answer 1. Or better yet, this is our singular answer to the Net Promoter Score question. And so we're just going to call this NPS answer. And we may later create a field or a formula or some way of representing the NPS question, which could be kind of long. But for now, we're just going to worry about the answer itself. So on a scale of 1 to 10, that is a length with a maximum of 2. And we're going to have no decimal places. Now, a length of 2 could be up to 99, so we're probably going to need a validation rule to make sure that no one answers above a 10. So as you can see, as you start gathering requirements, you can start making notes on things that need to be done to ensure data quality based on the requirements that you've gathered. All right, in the description, I've noted that this is the numeric answer to the customer NPS question. I've also noted that these are whole numbers between 1 to 10, with higher being positive. And then a 6 or less is a detractor. Now, what a detractor is someone that may be actively speaking negatively about your company. Anyone that scores an NPS question a 6 or below we're going to have them fall into a category known as a detractor. We're going to flag them on their contact record and have some automation later on in this course to do some follow-up to try and bump that score up, to do some actions to improve how they feel about our company, and to keep them from basically spreading bad information about our company. One of the corresponding things that you'll find when dealing with surveying and creating NPS surveys is there needs to be actionable things that happen off of the positive and the negative. And this is based on my own experience of creating something similar to this for a company. A 6 or below was flagged as a detractor, and then based on that score, certain things happened, and I'm going to leverage that experience for this course. So we're going to make this a required field on the survey. They've got to answer this question. We don't want it to be unique because there could be several surveys that have the same score, and we don't need to set this as an external ID to another system, so we're not going to check that box. So we can also do a default value, and here's where we could have it enter in a default of 10 or 1 or 5, but we're just going to leave that blank to really force the user to get a response from the survey person. And the idea behind this as well, or another requirement that we've gathered, is for now, they just want to do outbound proactive phone calling to call and survey these people. They don't want to do any sort of web-based survey at this point, which would be handled differently. So now in the next step, we're going to establish the field level security and keep the defaults visible to all profiles and click Next. And then we're going to add this to our survey page layout and click Save. And so now if we go back into our service application where we expose the survey tab, we can access the survey that we created previously before we had the NPS answer field, and we can enter in a number here. Now, as I mentioned, we need to do a validation rule so that we prevent things such as this from happening. We're intending for this to be an answer, a whole number between 1 and 10, and so I've just saved this as an 11. So in subsequent lectures, we'll deal with validation rules. We're going to round this out, but we've at least, through going through this fictional scenario, we've uncovered a lot of requirements from our customer, and we're providing a solution design based on this. And that being that we want to be able to provide NPS scores for NPS surveys, and those be from 1 to 10. And we know that we're going to be doing other questions as well. We've addressed the problem of how to represent the wording of these questions. So we're going to be getting into some page customizations, additional fields, maybe some formulas. We may even throw in some Visualforce down the road. And then here soon, we're going to be getting into the Service Console and customizing that further to provide a better solution design. And so this is not at this point an end-to-end solution that you've designed, and you're not going to be able to do that until you fully know the extent of the Service Cloud and the Service Console. And so in the next lecture, we're going to talk about extending the Service Cloud with custom application development as well as third-party applications.